दोस्तों, good evening. It's nice time to talk to you. और मैं आपके साथ बात करने वाला हूँ about the latest hot topic, and that is the Gaza Strip and a war between Israel and Iran. एक बात सोचिएगा, which I've said earlier also, that the army or the military might and its result, that is war, is actually an extension of the political aim. So ये बात अगर आप रखें in mind, it obviously means that war is an instrument to increase your political clout. Now, a lot of things have happened in Gaza. और मैंने in my last video I had said that Iran will not like to fight because it will bring America against them. पर अभी उन्होंने they have launched 313 rockets, drones and ballistic missiles against Iran. और मेरी खबर ये है कि 99% of them were destroyed. और जिन कंट्रियों ने उनका सपोर्ट किया है, they are the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Jordan. I mean, there is no proof, but this is what is the surmise. And there were air forces of the United Kingdom, France, and America which helped the IDF to destroy all these missiles, drones, and ballistic missiles. So the question is, gentlemen, how did the Israelis do it? And I also know that they did not activate their main Iron Dome system, and they used only the smaller systems which had been perfected by Israel in collaboration with the United States to destroy this swarm of drones, rockets, and missiles. That is the ICBMs. Now, gentlemen, ये एक लगता है कि it's a cut and dried thing, but it's not so simple. See, I had mentioned in my last video that Israel is not really keen to have a war right now with Iran. And Iran also was not wanting to have a war. But they were precipitated into action because Israel took a decision to bomb the embassy, and some of the top Iranian generals were there and they got killed. Once this happened, Iran had lost face in the world. And obviously they were wondering कि हम क्या करेंगे आगे? What are we going to do? We have to face the world. We can't take a kick from Israel and do nothing. So they had started a war rhetoric that we're going to take revenge on Israel. And the Americans thought they'll go whole hog and attack Israel. So they left a subtle warning to Iran that if you cross the red line, the threshold, then we'll come on the side of Israel. As it is, the Americans have decided that they will help Israel in case there is an air attack from the Republic of Iran. Now, the Iranians are also in the quandary. Now, my personal assessment of the whole situation is that Iran deliberately targeted areas in Israel which were non-populated and which only had some small military value. The Iranians thought that their missiles would go through and they would create some damage in the military areas and all, but by and large the Israeli population would not be touched. That was their way of thinking. But उनको ये नहीं मालूम था that their entire arsenal, that is the drones, the rockets and the missiles, would all be destroyed. I mean, this is the surprise of the event. And the net result of this is that the whole result of the Iranian attack is a big zero. But again, as I've seen the photographs, that the Iranian parliament is very happy and people are talking of victory. And there have been demonstrations, I think, in Iran, hailing the conduct and the attack on Israel. Actually, nobody in Iran has been able to convey the truth to the people there, and they don't want the truth to come out. That the result of this attack is actually zero. But probably the Iranians were not serious, and they were attacking for the sake of just keeping their face up. But they probably didn't anticipate that the disaster would be so big, and everything is cost effective. And each of these missiles is almost about $2 billion. So in this exercise, Iran would have lost roughly about $600 to $700 million for nothing, and their achievement is zero. Now the same thing is happening on the Israeli side, though Biden has agreed that in his talks with Netanyahu that he should treat this as a victory. But the Israelis are not really happy about it, and they are likely to react. So there's a war cabinet meeting, and I think in that meeting there was a division, and nobody has been able to give a clear-cut idea कि हम attack करें या नहीं करें. And so Benjamin Netanyahu is sitting on his haunches at the moment. He hasn't taken a decision. In the meanwhile, the Americans now are a little worried. And they are worried why? Because they are caught up, first of all, in Ukraine, in a battle with Russia. Secondly, they are caught up with facing China in Taiwan. They are really scared of them. China is rubbing the heels of the Philippines, Japan, and Taiwan, Formosa, and the Americans have got their force there. So, this is a distraction. And the Americans don't want the war to continue with Iran. And another thing we must bear in mind is that Iran has used drones earlier in Ukraine with a lot of success, at least some success. But it is a surprise that they totally failed in the attack on Israel. So that is food for thought to the Israelis and also to the Iranians. How come our missiles they will fail away? So, gentlemen, there is a lot of problem in the Middle East for America. And in between, I am told there was a meeting in Switzerland between the American and the Iranian representatives, which was before the attack took place, when they had told the Americans that we are going to launch this attack, but we request you not to reciprocate, because if you do, we are going to attack your carriers and your bases in the Middle East. Now, if that were to happen, but this was based on the surmise that some success would be available to the Iranians for their rocket attack. They didn't expect it to be a zero. But at the same time, the Americans have taken the Iranian warning seriously, and they don't want to antagonize or aggravate this conflict between Israel and Iran. And they have told, I think, Israel that in case you're going to go and attack the nuclear installations of Iran, we are not with you. That is a sign of American weakness, because American economy is in doldrums. America did a mistake in getting into the Vietnam War earlier, and then they did a bigger mistake in getting into the Ukraine war, and then they have to defend their assets in Formosa, Philippines, and Japan against China. China is a resurgent power. And recently there was a meeting in which one of the persons known to me was traveling with President Donald Trump in his aircraft, and Donald Trump said one particular thing, that is, if I had been president, I wouldn't have allowed Russia and China to become allies. So that is where Joe Biden failed totally. I will talk about that later, but as it stands at the moment, the Iranians are, of course, celebrating success, but they know in their heart of hearts that we achieved nothing, zero. We lost about $600 million for nothing. And at least if 20 or 30% of the missiles had gone and hit some portions of Israel, well, it would have been better. But I don't know even a single missile went and hit anywhere or any Israeli died. Nothing happened. And now the situation is very tense. Tense in the sense that Israel, who is going to react, They may not be doing it immediately, but they will engineer an attack. And there are two countries like which are Jordan and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which are, I won't say they're pro Israel or something, but the fact is they are not against Israel and they are facilitating the movement of the Israelis and the Americans over the airspace. So the Arabs are divided. And Turkey is totally silent. Americans have got a lot of troops in Turkey also. They have got troops in Iraq. They have got troops all over the Middle East. And the aircraft carriers, one is in the Red Sea and the one and the other in the Mediterranean Sea. So the two fleets operating there. Tremendous power. But this power has got really no relevance because the Americans don't now have the will to fight at all points. So, gentlemen, what I've been saying all the time, Americans created a blunder in Ukraine and they are facing the music. They can't face up with China, and before China acts, this problem in the Middle East has come. And this is not an American creation, but somebody will have to bell the cat. I don't visualize that the situation is going to die down. It is definitely going to lead to a further escalation and war. And I am pretty certain that if not today or tomorrow, Israel is going to launch an attack because this is the excuse they have now to attack the Iranian power centers, that is, their nuclear centers and nuclear research programs. Well, we'll have to wait and see, gentlemen, what happens. As far as this attack is concerned, it's been a bit of a failure and $600 million lost for nothing, no Israelis killed. And though it's a face-saving effort by Iran, it's got no meaning, frankly, and we'll have to see what Israel is going to do. And I'm afraid, if my hunch is correct, they will do something whether America supports them or not. And the long range, I think willy-nilly, America will support Israel. Gentlemen, if you like this video, please share it with your friends and come back for more. It will be my great pleasure if you sit and give a comment, and please like my video also. I will say now goodbye and God bless. Take care till we meet again.